In today's video, we're going to explore how to build a complete application using the GitHub Copilot Agent. Specifically, we will be developing a city directory application from scratch to see how powerful this tool really is. To follow along, you will need a GitHub Copilot license. This is available as a paid subscription for $10, though there are free versions available depending on your account type. First, we need to create a new repository on GitHub. You can set it as either a public or private repository. Once created, we will generate the necessary files. Since this is a brand new repository, you must commit at least one file. GitHub Copilot Agent requires some initial context to start its work. I'm creating a sample file where I've entered the specific prompt I want to use for this project. Let's head over to the GitHub Copilot Agent interface. I'll enter the prompt we just created and hit submit. The agent will now start its process, analyzing the existing logic and code base before generating the new files. For this project, I requested a Spring Boot backend and a JSP frontend. As you can see, the agent has successfully generated all the necessary Java files and JSP files. It even created a proper README file with documentation and screenshots, which is incredibly helpful. Depending on the complexity of your requirements, this generation process usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, let's bring this code into our local environment. I'm using IntelliJ IDEA. First, I'll copy the GitHub clone URL. Then, using the VCS tools in IntelliJ, I'll clone the entire workspace. Once the project is open, we need to switch to the corresponding branch where the files were generated. You'll see that everything is there: the controller classes, service classes, and JSP files. Impressively, this required zero coding effort from my side so far. Now, it's time to test. The application uses an H2 in-memory database. Since this is a Maven project, we first need to resolve the dependencies. You can see the JSP files and RESTful URLs got generated, and the port is configured the 8080. And the JSP files are available with all the required details, and they can also see that the data is pushed using the model POJO classes. We can test it out in IntelliJ. You can just configure the server configuration and we can start running it. Now the application has started running. Once the configuration is set, we can run it on our local machine. The application is now running on port 880. When we access it at localhost, we can see the city directory and the attractions being loaded correctly. We can even click like on certain attractions and visit different profiles. Our initial requirements have been fully met. If we want to make changes, for example, updating the portal name or changing the copyright year, we can do that easily. After making a quick update for testing purposes, we refresh the browser and you can see the changes reflected immediately. Finally, let's look at the pull request. I'll commit the changes I made back to Git. I like using GitHub Copilot to help generate my commit messages as well. Once pushed, a senior developer would typically review this pull request before merging it into the main branch. Once merged, the application is ready for production deployment, and that is how you build a city directory application using the power of AI.